Oh my God, you wearing a beanie in August? Dope.
Well, it's more like control the hair thing, you know.
I know. Hey,
I
it
was gonna
fits
say
the
that's
brand,
basically
baby.
a
You look like a
headband.
rapper.
Listen,
It's
hold
a
on. Let me,
nightcap.
the best part is all when I wear this in like videos on my Instagram, people are like, "You're a juggalo," because they see this thing and they think,
What that means.
"Oh,
Insane clown posse.
yeah," and they're like, they have an emblem that like, if I sit back far enough and like tilt my head and you can't tell what this is, it looks like a juggalo doing the little flute thing that he does. And so many people have private mentioned me, "You're a juggalo, dude? Like you like Insane Clown Posse?" I'm like, "Nah, dog. It's a Liverpool beanie. Chill the fuck out." All right. It's been a minute. You know, the dark days of the end of last season, we had to hibernate, get our thoughts and our spirits together. We came out the other side, as is always promised, a golden sky at the end of the storm, top four. And now we are on the precipice, the dawn of the new season, where promise and hope is abound. The scars of the past have been healed, hopefully, probably, maybe. And we trudge on to our new glories. As always, this is Tampa Bay Cop Talk. I'm Jordan.
I'm Darius.
I'm Andrew. Hi.
He's eating.
David's eating with his mic on his head.
Somehow we still screwed it up. Did the pre-meeting.
Listen, we ran.
That's not me. My bad.
We ran walk through. If you're not watching the video, David is shoving food down his face. Very politely put his microphone up, forgetting that his microphone was up to talk, and it's all right. This is.
I didn't want to give you just like an earful of noodle slurps, you know.
I mean, it'd been for the ASMR crowd. You know what I mean? Like,
I personally think it's a perfect reflection of last season. We started out strong, and then in the middle there got kind of weird, but then we just fixed it real quick, and we got to where we needed to be. That's the way it is.
Yeah. Right, that's it.
Enough about last season, though. This is about what's coming anew.
We never did do that show where you just let it all out, though.
I know. It all happened in conversations, and it's probably better that there isn't a recorded.
there isn't video evidence.
Yeah, of us having temper tantrums, because it'd be very easy to call into question our true passion and belief in the team if some of those conversations came to light. Yeah, some of the things that were said. You know, we often at times when we go to flight or flight, you know, we devolve into our basic animal instinct, and it's not the best of us. You know what I mean? But anyways,
I was the worst version of myself there for a while. I'm not gonna lie.
We all were, man. We all were at different points. We all had different points. I mean, there were points last year where at the end of the season where Andrew was actually talking me and David off the ledge, and it was all just, it didn't make sense.
Let's go.
I honestly don't remember.
I mean, that's the canary in the coal mine, isn't it? Like when Andrew's the one that's talking sense. Like,
I'm gonna play the fizz. I don't know.
That's how you know shit's bad.
So, heading into the offseason, one thing that was clear was that Liverpool needed to sort out a certain center back scenario, and we've done such by bringing in Ibrahim Konate, also known as Ibu, an impassioned Liverpool supporter from day one. I mean, have you all seen his self-made announcement videos?
Oh, I mean, the one was he in like a racquetball court or a basketball court, and they got family and like I want to say like pool, like blow up things, the rafts.
He did a gender reveal for his number 5. Like that's
or some bullshit. This shit was nuts. It was so Gen Z, millennial. I don't even know what to call it. It was amazing. It was like TikTok in real life. That's what I'm gonna call it. And I loved it. I loved every bit of it. It's like, Mom, look, I made it.
I mean, the one thing that you want in a new Liverpool signing is someone who's as excited to be there as you are to see them. And I think he nailed it, right, Darius? He nailed it.
I mean, the only thing bigger than his Liverpool fandom is his Dragon Ball Z fandom. So that has me on board for sure. But the fact that he is such a big, passionate, goofy dude, apparently off the pitch, but seems like he's a good guy and wants to get after it on the pitch and put in the hard work. Like, he's already won over so many Liverpool fans, and he hasn't even done anything yet. Just has the personality, age profile, and the fact that he's, you know, this big athletic dude. Yeah, he's kind of been exactly what you would want in a signing. Exactly what you would want in a young guy coming in.
Yeah, the 6'5" thing I think was a massive selling point. Just the fact that he's just huge. I think the mental picture was always like you have Virgil Van Dijk and then someone also equally as massive next to them, and he certainly fits that building. David, your first impressions of the young man from France, or he comes from Germany, but he is French.
No, my favorite piece of content with him was when him and Robbo wore the same size robe. Did you see that photo?
Yes.
That was good. And it looked like he was wearing like a bikini, and Robbo was like swimming in this thing. So that was like my favorite bit of content with him. But other than that, no, I'm just happy that he's here. It's another quality center back. I think maybe not to be like Mr. Serious and only talk about his skills, but I think maybe it's going to be a little bit more of a project once the season gets started than a lot of people anticipate. But I am looking forward to it. I think that he's going to be a good player for many, many years to come.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you touched on that because I think the scenario that we found ourselves in last year as a squad lends itself to the idea that whoever we signed at center back, whether it was Ibrahim Konate or some other name, Upamecano or the lad from Napoli, Koulibaly, right? Whoever it was, they were going to be deemed savior because of what we went through last year. So with that in mind, Andrew, do you view him more as like a plug and play, like instantly drop him in the side, or like David said, maybe just a little bit of a project, even if he is, advanced skill wise already?
The answer, to be frank, the answer is I don't know. But if history goes, history is a thing, then you would say a typical Klopp signing takes X period of time to bed in and blah blah blah, learn X, Y, and Z. But the benefit for him, and much like Fabinho when he came in, he's had a full preseason, I think, right? So there's that. But for me, it honestly depends on the availability of the others. If you're looking at because the other three center backs were, obviously injured for, the rest of the season kind of thing. So if you believe in the argument that Van Dijk and Gomez are not going to be properly 1,000% until probably October, December, around that time period, then you might put them in a little bit earlier than you would have in a normal season. But that said, based on what I've seen, I only saw one preseason game and obviously some highlights, but based on that, putting him in against mid-table opposition and below, he gonna be fine. Now, mind you, does he play against Chelsea third game of the season? I don't know. I don't think so. If that's the question you're asking me. But at the end of the day, in Klopp we trust or whatever nonsense, and hopefully we'll be fine. Hopefully we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll be fine.
A key sticking point, especially on that like mid-table and below thing, is like, the lad has played Champions League football. Yep. He was playing in a top 5 league in Europe and probably on merit now the second best league in Europe. I mean, apologies to La Liga, but we are speaking on the day of Messi being unveiled at PSG.
I was gonna say it might be France now.
Yeah. So he has the experience necessary to at least compete in the Premier League with smaller opposition. Does he start third week Chelsea? We will see. Darius, there's plenty of upside here. Yeah. Where he's at now, obviously he can fit in and play. What are your thoughts on him?
Well, my thoughts on him is that he is a project, but at the same time, you shouldn't be afraid to go out and play him, because the whole point of getting Konate, on top of already having Nat Phillips and Reece Williams, who were there from last year as your break glass in case of emergency, is to try to get them all up to speed so that you don't have to run back out and say, all right, Virgil, all right, Joe, y'all ready to go yet? So Konate's not going to be able to get to kind of take his time. I do think he's going to have to play in the first couple of months at some point, but like Andrew said, you're not going to have to worry about him as much against the top sides. It's more just trying to see if you can play him against your Burnleys, against your Brightons, get him up to speed, and if he looks good enough, then maybe you do ride the hot hand. But for me, at least, I'm looking at it as a very encouraging sign that Matip looked really, really good in preseason, and he looked, knock on wood, healthy. But the fact that he, Gomez, and Van Dijk have all been getting regular minutes, again, in glorified practices, doesn't mean much. It's not the same intensity. But it does show that they are maybe a little bit closer than what the timetable should probably say, which is a little encouraging. So I don't think he's going to be the day one guy, Konate, but I think he's right there. He's number 2 or 3 as far as who's ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, for me in my head, even though the three were injured, I'd still have them obviously Verge first, and then we can have a hearty debate about Joe Gomez and Joel Matip 2-3. But yeah, in reality right now, Konate is your fourth choice center back, and as compared to Dejan Lovren, who was our last real fourth choice center back, because we went into last season with three really. So obviously that's a massive upgrade. No offense to Dejan Lovren, one of the greatest center backs in world football, obviously. Won the league title last year. I mean, are we going to ignore the fact he
wins everything everywhere he goes?
Listen, Croatia goes to a World Cup final with him starting, with him on the bench. Croatia gets knocked out easily peasily. Like, I'm not drawing crazy lines here. I'm just
facts.
putting them there. Exactly.
Facts, homie.
I've said these facts. Okay. Facts. All right. But anyways, the point being, whether he is instantly our number 2 choice center back, which I don't think he is, he's got to grow into it. Still only 22, long way to go, plenty upside. The potential is there that he could be a Van Dijk type of center back if he matures properly, grows his game, and gets to that point. And I'm very excited to see how far he can go, not even just this season. We're going to see him right off the bat. I think it's been leaked to the press already. Joel Matip, Konate is going to be your starting center back pair. Start of the season. So we'll get to see him early and often, and then we'll see by the time that third match rolls around whether Klopp has enough faith in him to stick him next to Van Dijk, or he swaps him out for someone, a whole new center back pairing. Other off-season happenings, though, moving away from the signing of Ibrahim Konate, and hopefully this video is dated very soon and we bring in maybe one or two more, which is something we'll talk about later.
You mean non-happenings?
Yeah, exactly. But more happenings, right? We've extended some very key contracts. Earlier in the summer, I took a peek at the Sport Track website. Where are our contracts at? We only had about 12 players expiring in 2 seasons. Yeah. So, and of course, that's the magic number. You come up on the 2 seasons, you got to renew it. Because if you go into that last year summer, you just have no power as a club. The player can either demand a transfer at a less than price, or he's just going to ride out his contract and leave on a free. And then, our transfer model, recouping transfer funds, is a very important part of it. So we had a lot of players to renew. So far, thusly, as far as my news wire has informed me, we've signed Trent, Ali, and Fab. Trent, even though he's on the right wing and not part of the quote-unquote spine, is an essential part of the team. Ali, it can't be overstated. I mean, we've seen what it's like not having a world-class goalkeeper. There are only 3 of the top 3 goalkeepers in the world. That's just how it works, right? There's only 3 of them. 1, 2, 3, right? Once you get outside that top 3, it gets hairy scary. You get Mignolet in there. You get, Dean Henderson, stuff like that going on. Just can't have it. So to get him tied up. And then Fabinho, as we all know last year, Fabinho, if you take him out the 6, things get weird and wild and crazy. There's still more to be done, but Andrew, are you pleased with the extension business we've done so far?
Wait. I have a question though. Did I see the fake news that Hendo didn't sign? Did he not?
Listen,
we'll get to that.
Hasn't happened yet.
We've got to discuss this real quick though about this, because
Go ahead.
This summer, I don't know what it is, if it's the push notifications on our smartphones or what's going on.
Yeah, I think
there are 3 or 4 or 5 fake Twitter accounts that keep posting every day that we've signed Mbappe, and I click it every day and I fall for it every day. So listen, folks, you gotta click on the notification. Don't just read it. And then go read the comments of everyone going, "You tit, you're a tit, you're a tit."
Yeah, no, for sure. But
you might as well just put a blocker in for Mbappe. When he actually does sign, we'll let you know.
Yeah,
he'll be on BBC or something. No, I thought I saw.
No,
I mean, it must have been at 2 in the morning, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
He showed up to Melwood, and someone took a picture of him cheekily smiling and wrote underneath it, Hendo signed his 3-year contract.
Fuck it, doesn't matter. So yeah, no, obviously
so far.
Was he at Melwood? Was that part of the joke?
Kirby. No, he was at Kirby. Sorry. I keep forgetting.
I know.
Melwood, I mean, you know how it is in Tampa. We have that hockey arena that had like 4 different names in the past 10 years. I still call it the original Ice Palace from the 90s. Get out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
I ain't worried. I'm going to call it Melwood. I don't even know how to pronounce that word with a K. Who does? Nobody got time for that. As far as the business is concerned, yeah, I mean, it's a step in the right direction. Obviously, there's more work to be done. Because the fiasco that happened with Genie, it's sad to say that probably will happen again. Something similar to that will happen again, but it'd be from an emotional standpoint, it would be a travesty. I'm going to use an SAT word there, a travesty if that were to happen to someone like Hendo, for example. But if you were to ask me, would I be surprised? No, I wouldn't be. So that's what got anxious Andrew all concerned is someone like Henderson, especially that I've been reading this book about captains and team sports, and yeah, those are important.
Yes,
The
leaders
takeaway of
the
that book
team are important. That
those
is
are important.
I don't-
Leadership apparently is a thing. And it's not down to the coaches you might think it is. There's like statistics and math, and you know me, I love the math. So there's that. But yeah, again, it's a step in the right direction. But I'm as with everyone, I want the Mbappe thing to be real, or insert literally any other human link to be real. like I don't. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Oh
I
wow,
mean-
they got Morata. Awesome.
Yeah, I
That's gonna be
mean-
you in a week.
There is definitely a
Fuck
flavor,
it, why not?
a flavor to the contract extensions that's like, you know, FSG led us down this path before where they were like, extensions are like new signings, guys. I don't know if that's the case here. I'm more inclined as I calm down and use my rational side of my mind to believe that it really is down to the registration numbers for foreign players and homegrown. Like we just don't have room to sign anyone, and we're not bringing in any English talent because no one's going to sell us their English talent for less than, you know, 80 million pounds or whatever. That's just the way it is. But David, you know, as we butt up against the contracts yet to be done, the contracts that are done though are very key, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, okay. So yeah, like you said, Ali, Fab, Trent. You said Trent's not part of the spine, but hey, for now,
Yeah.
right? So we don't know what the
For
future
now.
holds for him. But you know, here's the thing: you get those done because they're all key players, but they're not the guys that you have to pay the most. The two guys on this list that are looking to renew that are gonna have to make the most money. They're just gonna have to because of who they are and what they represent are Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk. Those are the two that you do at the very end because you're going to pay them more than you're going to pay Fabinho, more than you're going to pay Allison. Like Mo Salah could demand 400K a week, and you should just fucking give it to him if he asks for it because he's worth that. Like if you don't, somebody else will. Mo Salah's a fucking badass. You got to at least get him to 300, right? But you wait, and then you don't give anybody else the leverage, any of the other key guys the leverage to say, well, Mo's making 300. I want to make 300. Well, fuck you. Mo pumps in 23 goals a season on average. What do? You know what I mean? But you don't want to have that conversation. So just wrap them up for what you can. And then, you know, get to Mo at the end. Same thing with Virgil because he's a stud. He's one of the best center backs in the world. Probably will be. I'm hoping that this rehab has gone well. I think we all are. And if it has, and he gets back to where he was, then shit, that's the best center back in the world wrapped up right there for until he's 33, 34 years old. I think I wouldn't be nervous about Henderson. I do think it'll get done. I just think that they're going to be smart about it. And they're going to be like, let's see how he does this season. Because the inconvenient thing that nobody really wants to say when they talk about Jordan Henderson, myself included, is the dude spends a lot of time on the sideline, on the training table. He's busted up a lot, right? So they're going to want to look at him this season. After last year, his last injury was kind of significant. Took him out from March 1st through the end of the season. That's not a small. Yeah, I mean, it was the Everton match. So it was right at the beginning of March. I don't remember where, but it was a significant amount of games left. And we had to do that without our captain, right? Now, as great as he is and as much of a leader as he is, I also want to make sure that he can play 25 times this season. And if he can, they're just going to give him 2 years. You know, look, they extend him on 2 years. He's asking for 4 years now? 2 years from this, the end of this season is 3 of those 4. And then they can go, well, you know, we could do like we did with Milner, right? So you'll get the 2-year extension making what you make now. We could just tack on a year at the end of it, whatever it is. You know, he wants to stay with the club, I think. The club definitely wants to keep him, but they're not going to want to pay him what he's currently worth unless he can stay on the pitch and keep competing. And that, from a business standpoint, makes complete sense. I know that from a personal standpoint, none of us give a shit and we just want to see him out in red. I don't want to see him playing for anybody else, but the club has to do its business intelligently and, you know, try to get the most out of all these players that they can for what they pay. So I mean, it's fine. I do think it'll get done. I think if Klopp would literally lose his shit if Jordan Henderson wasn't around to be his captain. So I don't think that there's any chance that he won't be a Liverpool player. But it's just I don't think he's going to get his contract this summer like he wants. I also don't think he's going to go to PSG. I don't think PSG is going to be allowed to sign anybody. Why would you even want to go there? Where the hell are you going to play? Center back?
I don't know. Maybe right back. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, to take a famous quote from a movie and reappropriate it, there is no crying in baseball. There's no feelings in football contracts. Like, come on, there's got to be a strategy here. And yes, you know, the emotional side of all of us, Hendo better be the captain, which is just crazy to think how many people are losing their minds on the LFC internet verse over Henderson possibly leaving, when just 3 years ago it was like, why is he my fucking captain? He passes sideways and backwards. Can't fucking believe it.
The amount of stick he's taken, and then now we just can't go on without him. Like, what?
Yeah,
the number of people who have gone from being haters of Gini Wijnaldum and Jordan Henderson to now them both all being like, oh, so like,
yeah,
it's so amazing. Key. It really is amazing. Sometimes you do, and that's where it's like, when he goes to Gini, it's like sometimes you need to miss somebody to understand what they really are in value.
Right. But
and I hope that doesn't happen for Henderson now, that he gets his flowers while he's with Liverpool. We don't have to wait until he's gone before we see, oh yeah, he actually was really good.
You don't
but
know
to
what
be
you got.
Positive, people are allowed to grow with, you know,
idiots on the internet.
That's true. Idiots on the internet should grow. Agreed.
No, they should go away. Go away.
All right, they're delicate little flowers.
So obviously, like, there's a succession of contracts still to be signed, and I'll leave this here with Darius before we continue on. So we mentioned Virgil and Mo. I think those are 100%. You sign them again, but we also have Mane, Bobby, Keita, and Ox, and there's an interesting mix in there of like, there's a reality here. One of the front three has to maybe not be re-signed.
Yeah, and
you're signing Mo definitely. So between Mane and Bobby, and I know you've got him over your shoulder, so maybe this is the wrong person to Bane. Let's combine them. So who are you prioritizing other than the Virgil and the Mo?
Well, I would just say that you would probably, between those four players you just brought up, you'd look at this season as like a contract year for all of them, where it's like, if you perform, you can earn your way back into this team. Otherwise, we're looking at you as an asset and seeing what we can get. And I think all four of those guys are included. Now, more so Keita and Ox with the shorter leash than you have with Bobby and Mane, because I still think that with those two guys, you look at them and say they could have a bad year this season and still turn around and be world class. You're kind of at the end of your rope when you're looking at the former two, the two midfielders. So I would say out of the front three, though, we are getting to a point where you realistically have to make that decision. And I don't know, like, it's tough. I would say you probably would look at Mane as the one who would get you more of a fee, and you probably can find someone who can do something that he does quicker than you'd be able to find a replacement for Firmino. If you're trying to play the same exact style of football, I think Mane is a better player between the two of them. I think Mane still has a higher upside between the two of them. But as far as like finding a like for like, it'd be easier to find someone who can do what Mane does than it would be to find what Firmino does. And if you get all of the money that you would get from Mane, well, that question just becomes a lot easier to answer as well. So I don't think they should look to sell any of them right now. I don't think they should look to sell Mane or Firmino especially, but if push came to shove and gun to head, like, that's probably the one where it would make the most sense. But I mean, again, like, you're asking me, like, I don't want to see him go. Get out of here, bro. Like, come on. But that's, I just like thinking from a manager's point of view, or like upper management or CEO. I think that's the way you do the math there.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, footy man strategist in me is like, you know, this is definitely, they're getting in the 30s. You just don't keep a player in his 30s on footy man, do you? You just, everyone's 20. Like, if they hit 30, they're decrepit and old.
I don't think 30 is decrepit and old, especially not for the guys. I mean, Mane, the way he takes care of his body, he's going to be played till he's 35, 36.
No, realistically,
he's going to be good. But you got to get to a point where it's like, okay, we understand you can't keep this up forever. So if you are going to cash in and get a guy out while he's still got some worth, get something back and start fresh, 30, 31, 32 is when you're looking at that time. Is like, yeah, this is like your max value now. So
Yeah.
that's why you got to do that math.
I think if I'm doing it, I'm keeping Mane, and I'll say, sorry, Bobby, but go resurrect La Liga on your own or something. I don't know.
And it makes sense because I honestly, I think that you can make a case for right now, Mo, Mane, and going with Diogo Jota being a better front three than those two on the wing with Firmino in there. So you can make that argument. I totally get why that would be the guy say, hey, Bobby, love you, but
go ahead, Dave.
There's another issue here though. Like, who's gonna buy him?
That's the transfer world's fucked right now. Like the whole financial aspect.
Who's gonna spend the money? Because if it's not like Bayern, PSG, both of which are pretty much done spending, Barca's broke, Real's pretty much broke.
Yeah, I was gonna say
all
the
the
cash
Italian
cows
clubs are broke.
Are dead. The cash cows are dead.
All the cash, yeah.
But that's why I still say Mane would be the one.
Anyways, which is why I think.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I think you can talk to them about like, hey, your options are limited anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Like we could extend you a year, extend you 2 years, whatever. See where we're at in 2024. I don't know when their contracts expire exactly. I think they're 2023, maybe.
No, yeah. All these are 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's get to 2024 and see where you're at. Or you just run them down or see, extend them a year and see where we're at next year with the transfer market. Ball's found its footing. Some of the money's coming back in. Maybe there is a better market for Bobby Firmino because he scored 11 goals and got 9 assists, and all of a sudden there's a lot of interest back in Germany or something. But I think right now, just the money's so limited, it's not really like there's anywhere for them to go anyway. So Bobby got a new contract right in the 2018 season, I think, or 2019 maybe it was. Yeah. And Mane, his last contract re-signing was around then too. So I think they're in pretty good shape. We don't have to do anything on either of them right now, and I'm more with you on Naby and Ox. Or this is it. If you can't stay on the pitch, then
you've got more. Man. You've got more reinforcements in the midfield. You've got more talent there. So it's like up front, that should be the priority. So can't be really affording to get rid of guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, so before we transition to the new season, and speaking of contracts that weren't renewed, I'm going to give Andrew 30 seconds to eulogize Marko Grujic and go.
Marko.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Marko. Moment of silence, guys. He was part of the family.
All right, everyone. Moment of silence around the world for Marko Grujic. He was nice to us. He took pictures with us.
Still alive. Guys, by the way, if you're watching online, he's still alive. He just doesn't play for Liverpool anymore.
He left.
He's just on a different team now.
I was looking through my Insta today, and there was a picture of Marko and me, and I loved it.
Goodbye, Marko. We love you.
Fun at Porto, bro.
Okay, this is uncomfortable now.
But yeah, man, the guy's autograph's in my car. He's, you see, it's there. It's there. There it is. He's a part of the family. We went on a trip recently. The dog is sitting next to the scarf. He's sitting next to the autograph of Grujic. So he's part of the family.
You and Grujic went on a trip.
Yeah. Basically, he went on a trip with us. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
He essentially invited me to his.
I want to do a sidebar real quick. I just got to know if you could only have one of them in your life going forward: Grujic, Allison, or James Rodriguez. Because you have a love affair with all of these men.
Dude.
All of these men are your
bed. That was my boyfriend, but like James, that's like you're talking about.
It's such a conundrum for you, I know.
Dude, you're talking about national shit, so it have to be James. Yeah, absolutely. If Grujic played more games for Liverpool, maybe it would be Grujic, but like James, I mean, that's some national like.
We need to play like Mary Fuck Kill with these three for you.
Dude, but also you got to think like another thing. Maybe it's unknown. Like James is from the same city as my mother's from, so like.
That's what I'm saying. It hits you in the heart. Yeah.
It's so because like honestly, if Steven Gerrard just asked me to stab Landon Donovan, I'd probably do it.
Okay, hold on a second. I would probably do the same. But he asked Allison, Grujic and James. Neither of those two Liverpool players stand up to Steven Gerrard, right? So shit, even Mo Salah I would like, trade James for him. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
okay.
backstab
Well,
James.
now
Okay.
we're borderline blasphemy here.
Yeah, borderline, but it is what it is. So anyway,
by the way, this is going to be the clip that we use for the video.
All right. So with the contract and the Marko Grujic memoriam done, real quick, as we look forward to next season, and I'm going to throw this first to my boy down here, Andrew.
What's up?
Who was your favorite, maybe surprise performer of the preseason?
Again, I only saw one game, but before the game, Mark went up to me and was like, he forgot Elliott's name, but he was describing Elliott. And I know this is the easy cop out answer, but because you hear a lot about these young players and then they become flash in the pans. Is that the right phrase? Where they're there for a second and they're, you never hear of them again. So, but you see that you see his positioning in midfield, and then remember when so and so came off, he went to Mo's position, and that's when he hit the crossbar, right? Mm-hmm. Goal didn't happen, but hey, whatever, it's preseason. That's where you think like, yo, he might play in games that are not League Cup games. You know what I mean? So he might actually play in the Premier League, and for me, that's quite exciting, and especially at his young age. He's got to do something about his hair, though. It bothers me. But other than that, that's really exciting. But obviously there are some other players where I'm hoping, obviously they become a baller, you know what I'm saying? But I'll leave it to the rest of y'all to distinguish those players.
Any thoughts on Harvey Elliott, David?
Yeah, a lot of potential. We've known this though. We said he was the English Messi when we signed him, right? So,
right, but
no,
I seen it now.
No, it's becoming more and more of a reality all the time. You saw it at championship level last year. I think that basically, we're going to clear a foreign player spot once somebody finally ponies up the dough that we want for Shaq, because Harvey Elliott is that new Shaq, and so there will be a foreign player spot come available somewhere. But yeah, I think that he'll feature probably as much as Shaq did, last season, which is exciting because he'll probably get 10 to 15 appearances. What he does with them, we'll see. But he's an exciting young player, loads of skill, good pace. I mean, you see all the potential coming together, and when you get clapped off the pitch at Anfield and then give your boots to a little kid, I mean, it's only bright things ahead, right?
Listen, he was like 2 years younger than him.
He let every other player leave the pitch so that he could be the last one out by himself. Awesome. And that's the other thing to remember is like he did come up watching Steven Gerrard Liverpool, and he is like a Liverpool fan, so he does it. He's not Scouse, right? But he does do it for the badge a little bit more than others, maybe,
And that obviously that can only be an asset, right? And that's that it's so. I mean, I'm not a screenwriter in any sense of the imagination, but like that's very Hollywood to me. Like it's just a perfect amalgamation of ingredients to like this. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, he's living my dream. If he just put on some goalie gloves and stood in the net for a little bit. But right. Darius, I'm going to throw it to you. Who was your maybe surprise pick of the bunch from the preseason?
I would say Takumi Minamino, just because he was such a forgotten guy over the last year and a half since they signed him. And when they first signed him, I'm like looking at him like, oh yeah, this is an exciting player. He played great at Anfield. And then it's like, all right, well, take some time to, get up to speed, project restart, all that kind of stuff. And then last year they throw him off to Southampton, and Southampton by the end of it was like, we can't do anything with this. And he comes out on fire in this preseason. Again, it's preseason, so who really cares? But the fact that you could have someone who's playing above his value, and he was valued at, what was it, £7.5 million pounds. So if you get something out of him, and that's just Origi minutes, if you're getting something like 4 or 5 goals throughout the course of the season, that feels like a massive step up from virtually nothing over the last couple of years. So I'm encouraged by that, just to see what is there. So that's a player I'm excited to see this season, to see if he can do it against the real guys. But at least in the game that I saw on Sunday, I mean, he looked comfortable against Atletico Bilbao, against Athletic Club Bilbao. He looked comfortable, and he looked like a grown man playing football as opposed to just like a little kid doing a cosplay, which is what he kind of looked like when he got in at times last year. So he looks like he's ready to go. But
yeah,
it's
I was gonna
preseason, who
say,
knows?
like, he showed up at Liverpool looking like a child, and now he
Mhm.
has like a beard, like a little. It's patchy,
Yeah.
patchy, but he looks a little bigger, and
He
he has
don't
a
look baby face. He looked like he's ready.
and he doesn't look like he's like when we won the Premier League, he kind of was like always off to the side, just like looking around, like, wow, these guys did something. I feel like I'm just kind of here.
Yeah.
And now I feel like he's more like, you know, he went to Southampton, was like, oh, so this is what the rest of the Premier League's like. I don't want to do this.
Damn, I thought
David,
Liverpool was bad. Southampton?
I think, I mean, Darius said if you can get Origi minutes out of him, I think there's a reality whereby when we get to AFCON, he can maybe plug into one of those two spots that Mo or Mane leaves. And I think, I mean, he was linking up well. He was checking into spaces when he go out in the wing. He sent it across to Bobby that he took on the chest and just finished. They celebrated together like they're the best of buds. I think maybe we can even expect a little bit more than that, more than Origi minutes, and even maybe more than 4 or 5 goals or 4 or 5 goal contributions. I think he could maybe be at least a rotational player on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised because, like, if you'd have told me a year ago that like Mane and Salah are going to go off to AFCON, and then it's going to be Jota, Firmino, Minamino across the front three, I'd be like, oh, Jesus, it's gonna be a long game. But now I don't know. You know, he also looks a little bit quicker to me. I don't know that. I'm sure he's been working on his pace. Been training really hard, so I don't know. He just looked a little bit. It looked really spry in that game the other day from what I saw of it. I just saw clips. I didn't watch the whole thing, but just a little bit more pace to him. And yeah, I have hopes for him that he could possibly look. I said to you guys earlier, if he gave you like 7 goals, 5 assists in 18 appearances, okay, you know, that's good to me. Like, I got no beef with that, because you need that are just going to pop in once in a while, but they're not going to be there all the time. If he's that, then he's that. He only costs $7.5 million. What do you think? That's a good ROI.
Can I do an analogy real quick? Like, if he does an Lallana and comes on at Old Trafford and scores a winner, the equalizer, and that's all he does, totally okay with that. Totally okay with that.
I mean, I'd want more consistency throughout the course of the
Darius,
season.
I'm totally okay with that.
But you want a moment. I feel you, bro. You want a moment. That's what you're looking for.
He does need a moment. I think
he needs a moment. Absolutely.
A big moment for his career would change.
Yeah.
I think he had a moment, and I think this happened for a lot of players actually. And if you looked at their Instagram posts following the last 2 friendlies, like the only thing that they all talked about was that the fans are back, and like Costas talked about it, like, oh, feeling what Anfield's actually like. Minamino scored, and then he had like a bunch of Liverpool fans to like be like, yeah, oh, you guys like me, cool.
Wait, y'all know my name? Awesome.
Yeah, like we
He's never
really
actually played.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
He's
Half of these
never
guys
actually.
haven't.
Yeah,
Jota
exactly.
neither.
So like, well, Jota at least
Jota,
got that
like-
Wolves game in January and the Spurs game, but that wasn't the real Anfield. You know, we all know we could opine about that forever and ever.
But Jota had at least seen Anfield from a visitor's side. I mean, so had Minamino, but like Jota had been there like several times.
But
I
like,
don't know.
I think he had that moment, and like, it is we can always. The caveat's always it is preseason, but however, this is the preparation for the season. You know, like if they look really shit, that's really bad, right? Like we'll agree that, right? If preseason looks really shit, that's really bad. So if they look good, it's got to be at least a little good. But one of the things that really impressed me with Minamino was he was doing those runs behind like the line for the long ball. And like just bringing it down, like he had that early opportunity where he sent it just wide, and then for the goal, it was the same exact thing where he just broke the line, the ball came, and he was in.
Timed it perfect, and his touch was impeccable on both occasions. So it's like that's the kind of little stuff that you see, and it's like, this is the way Liverpool wants to play. So it's not just he's able to go out and play football, but he can play football the way Jurgen Klopp wants him to play.
Yeah,
and that is to me really exciting.
And the other thing was that Mr. Konate loves the anime, and him and Minamino have been flirting online about it. And it's good that he has a friend.
True?
I'm good.
I'm happy. Links. I want to see the flirt.
I'm happy that like he has like a genuine friend, because I just feel like he was like an outsider, and that was always going to be the problem.
They can vibe over My Hero Academia and Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
no, but to your point though, that's actually good because I think Minamino speaks German, so like they can speak German together.
He speaks German with a lot of guys.
Earlier that there was no one to really speak German to besides Matip, but like a defender, and I mean, what the hell are they gonna talk
Well,
about?
no, I mean a number of those guys. Like remember, Mane and Firmino both spent time in Germany. So actually, Firmino, I think his German is better than his English. Same as for Minamino. But point taken, where you now have another guy who you can vibe with in a number of different ways. And Takumi being a little bit younger than the front three. I mean, having someone closer to your age bracket. I know it doesn't sound like it's a whole lot, but it does mean something when you have somebody you can kick it with on that.
Yeah. I'm going to jump in with mine, and he's going to be key here very early. And that's Kostas Tsimikas, the man who really didn't exist, the new signing that never really played. 6 minutes, right? He had 6 minutes, right, in total last season. And all that happened was that James Milner yelled at him. Like, that's all that happened.
That's preseason.
He said, fucking hell, Kostas. And that was his Liverpool career up until his preseason, was James Milner telling him fucking hell, which is not great. It's not great. It's memorable. It's just not great. But given the circumstances, and this obviously only became true up this Saturday, we didn't think he was going to be playing, but he did very well in preseason. He has the delivery on him. He put that ball in for Bobby, and then they did the fucking finger guns together, and that was awesome. He's going to be key early, and I think the main thing is that he has the delivery, and it's the one thing that we desperately need from Andy Robbo is the distribution, especially out wide. And he can replicate that. It's one of the reasons why we fall so short when Nico Williams fills in for Trent. He's just not there yet with the delivery. And I thought Kostas looked strong and was delivering the ball, very, very well throughout the whole, preseason. So that's mine. David, who was your surprise performer?
I was gonna say Tsimikas, but
okay.
No,
you can add on. You can add on. Go ahead.
No. I mean, it's gonna be ever more important now with Robbo out for an undetermined amount of time. I literally was like, I don't think this kid's ever gonna actually play for us. I had gotten into a place where I convinced myself that it would be more likely that Ben Davis converts to left back, and he somehow exists more than Tsimikas. But no, I'm glad to see that this player, will hopefully be someone for us and give us that depth at left back. There is one other player, but it's not unusual for him to tear up preseason.
Oh, you don't want to say it. I know you don't want to say it, but say it. Say it.
Naby Keita.
YouTube Naby's back.
I'm ready to be hurt again. It's watch, rinse, repeat with this guy.
I know, and I'm just prepared that we are indeed going to be hurt again. Yeah. And so, I'm just sort of like, I really hope by some chance in hell, based on the way that they handled his injury last year, new doctor, all this other shit that's gone on, maybe he'll stay on the pitch this season for like 20 appearances. I'd just kill for that. Just give me 20 to 25. Just give me 20 starts, 25 appearances. I'll take it, but we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Is that we will see. Yeah, man. I think he's looked good. He's for me, like, he's usually looked well when he's played and not been hurt early in the game. West Ham debut, incredible. He had like a Bournemouth appearance that same year, incredible. They just the injury thing, and that's. Maybe how old is he? 24, 25 still? He's still very young.
25, 20. He's turning 26 this year.
Maybe his body was still developing and all the ligaments and stuff hadn't fully formed. And
brain doesn't stop developing until you're 25, so maybe that's what it was with him.
Right?
I'm thinking he might have carried something in with him, right? When because we loaned him back for a year. I think he might have picked something up that year and carried it in with him, and it never got right. And they just, they kept trying to push him back.
That's the crazy thing, though. He didn't really miss that much time with injury. At least I don't remember in his first year.
The first season,
he's gonna be 27 in February, kids.
Yeah, he's 27.
Okay. So
yeah, but that's the thing. I don't remember him missing that much time in the 18-19 season. 19-20, he was in and out, but he was
the point
good
is
the second half. And then last year was a disaster.
Yeah.
There is 25%. He's a baller, but he's becoming a Sturridge at the moment, and that's very unfortunate.
Well, that's been David's point.
It is my point, but when I pull back and look at the numbers, right? So it's interesting because he's been injured for a quarter of his Liverpool career. Now it seems like more than that, but the other reason that he hasn't played is that Jurgen hasn't picked him, and so
especially last year.
Yeah,
second half of
and so
last
that'll
year.
be interesting to see how that plays out because, I think we all would say on paper that you want to see Hendo, Fabinho, Thiago. That's your preferred midfield three, right? On an average day. Can he break through that and make himself a regular part of that midfield? I don't know. And so like he might actually just stay healthy all season and still only appear 15 times because Jurgen only decided that he would play 15 times in the Premier League and maybe 5 times in the Champions League. And that's how his 20 appearances happen. If that happens, that's totally fine with me. And that makes complete sense. And then it becomes a question of, is it worth 120K a week to keep that player in that role? Because that player is, I'm sure that he wants to play every week. He could play every week somewhere if he can stay healthy and make shitloads of money, right? So like if your negotiation standpoint at that juncture gets a little difficult because you're basically saying like, this is what we see you as. We'll pay you X amount of dollars and 120 is probably all it's ever going to be. He either has to accept that or say like, no, fuck this, I'm out of here. So it'll be interesting to see like how this year plays out for him and then what that means for his future.
Yeah, I mean, he's been YouTube Nabby all preseason. Maybe he just turns a corner, wins a Ballon d'Or, and just, I don't know, scores like 30 goals for some reason. I don't know. Let's dream, right? He wears the number 8. Right.
Maybe.
Or there's the other reality whereby when a great player leaves a number vacant, the next person that comes in has to be shit to wash it clean. Like, it's the next person that wears it so right. It's like this vicious cycle that goes on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's just the number 8 cleansing after Steven Gerrard.
Too much numerology already in this episode.
He's the guy after the guy. You never want to be the guy.
But you know what though? Then I worry about Konate. I really do.
Yeah, I mean,
he's just starting his career yet. Throw out the bad vibes already.
Are reasonable things. Here's some other names that you could have thrown out there to be like, wow, that was surprising. Ben Woodburn, apparently. Pep Linders.
Still a Liverpool player.
Pep Linders' surprise player of the preseason was Ben Woodburn. And Jurgen Klopp.
Because he's like, I didn't know he still lived here.
Jurgen Klopp's quote was very interesting. Jurgen Klopp was talking about, we played him at right back, he did well. We played him in the center midfield, he did well. We played him in the 10, he did well. And you know what Jurgen Klopp loves? He loves
He's
the Swiss
a young
Army.
James Milner.
Exactly, mate. Is Ben Woodburn going to resurrect his...
Darius, stop.
True.
Darius, say that again.
He's a young James Milner. That's what we mean.
I just got the stub. I didn't even think about it like that, but damn.
God.
I mean,
It was
If that was
interesting.
true, I would be fine with that. Would be amazing.
1000%. We
It's
need
interesting for...
James Milner. Just have him sleep.
Who doesn't love a
Woodburn move
versatile
in.
player? James Milner is like
Yeah.
all weather gear. He's fucking versatile as it comes, man.
He's like Gore-Tex.
He's
Three
Gore-Tex,
Three things of note.
not the rapper.
3 things of note. And you can look this up. Jurgen Klopp giving them big ups, talking about he can play over the pitch. Pep Linders then goes on to say he's done very well. He came into camp pretty much in top shape, and he has an Anfield future. That's what Pep Linders said. He said he has an Anfield future, right? Third thing of note.
Okay.
He's been at the club for 3 years. Under the age of 21, he's a homegrown talent. He's over the age of 22 or 21, which means if you register for him, he takes one of the homegrown spots. And that's just an interesting little tidbit. I don't know. Do with it what you
Something
want.
to think about.
Yeah, just something to think about.
Plus, he's
This-
Welsh, so it's fine. Like,
you don't think
you
it's?
could sign
I
him
mean,
today? It counts, right?
Wait. But from a conspiracy standpoint, you don't think it's like smokes and mirrors to maybe get a fee
Get up
at
the
it?
price.
I
Yeah,
mean,
That's what I
it's
would have guessed.
probably-
But
right.
Smoke and mirrors to get him to sign a contract.
No. I
and
mean to
then
sell
you
him.
sell him.
Yeah.
No, but
Ah,
you
well,
have
yeah,
to
same thing.
sweeten-
Whatever,
You
yeah.
have to sweeten him up to sign a new contract because I think he's up on contract either the end of this year or next year. And
Yeah.
It's
so
the end of this year.
you need him to sign a new contract to protect his value so that you could sell him on.
Yeah, because if you were to sell him for, let's say 10, you pay for the academy's yearly expenses for, X, you know what I mean? Like,
or
as an example.
second coming of James Milner or someone else better than that, and we profit and laugh and go, this kid, he was 16, scored a goal. We forgot about him for 5 years. Oh yeah, that means he's 21, which again, in the world of football, 21 is a baby. It's a baby. I'm sorry. There's some people like Messi that come around. There's some people like Jadon Sancho that come around. They're very rare. Most of them are babies, and then they hit 24 and they're amazing, So you never know. You never.
But even the ones, I mean, come on, Messi was great when he was young, but once he hit 24,
Yeah.
like Raheem Sterling was great when he was young, but once he got to be about 24, like he's just a completely different proposition.
Next level. So he's still maturing. And like someone pointed out, like, hey, we wanted him to be superstar at 17, 18 years old, but maybe he was just developing on a normal path of like a normal footballer where, 17, 18, he's not strong enough, good enough yet. And then he gets 19 years old. Now
He
he's
scored that
21.
goal for Wales and it just created too much
right.
expectation,
We fell in love with Ben Woodburn before we even knew who he was. Right. And that's a real story about love and relationships anyways, that you should take with you.
Take it slow, kids.
Oh, all right.
Giving out advice. Take it slow.
So real quick, I'm going to ask you this and you just answer me real quickly for the new season. Darius, the minimum. What is the minimum we have to do for you to be like, okay?
Minimum is repeating last year in a less creative way, finishing inside the top 3, not having it go down to the last day of the season, but finishing inside the top 3, a run pretty deep in the Champions League, I would say maybe up into the semifinal, and get you a trophy. I think that would be the way to look at a successful season, understanding last year was partially a fluke, but also they are a club that's now starting to transition players out, with Wijnaldum being the first. There's going to be another point either this year or next year where we're going to look at somebody leaving and go, damn, that hurts. So knowing that, it'd be a little much to expect the team to just go and win everything. I'm still very bullish on them, and I think they can go and win multiple trophies. But as far as like my bare minimum, that's where I'm thinking. Comfortably inside the top 4, deep run in the Champions League, get you a trophy.
Okay, Andrew, your minimum, and you're all right.
I mean, we're doing the math here, right? So the minimum is obviously top 4, because Arsenal's not anywhere close to that, and you know how I feel about Spurs. I've said this on this podcast several times, so I don't even think that needs to be mentioned.
What about the brilliant Brendan Rodgers and Leicester?
I don't fuck that. We've talked about that on WhatsApp. We
minimum.
Talk about that on a pod later.
Minimum
at a later point, but let's just keep it. Just let me
minimum.
Let me compartmentalize whatever that word is. My anxiety right now, and so yeah, it's got to be top 4, obviously. I'm a sucker for the Champions League. I would love a run, but whether that's realistic, I don't know. And the reality of the situation, I would love a domestic trophy, right? But we know since Klopp's been here, he don't give a fuck about League Cup or FA Cup. He doesn't prioritize them, and I can't wait to see the video in January. Is Klopp sacrifice, whatever that head, those YouTube, clickbait things. See, sacrificing X, Y, and Z for X, Y, and Z game, and I don't give it. So I don't see that happening. Now, mind you, do we see an opportunity to develop players like, Harvey Elliott and so on? Yeah, absolutely. But it's got to be top 4, and that's all it ever is. Realistically, I don't think we'll win the title this season. Do I want it to happen? Absolutely. But I just think that with Tuchel and Pep and his infinite money, I just don't see it happening. I just don't have enough information to go on right now.
Not enough math.
Exactly. Not enough math. Now, ask me in December. Me in December.
Oh, this is always a shape-shifting question.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Like last year we had to win the title, and then by January it was still win the title, and then by March it was.
No. I think I remember saying, like, if we were to get 3rd, I'd be okay. And that's exactly what we got. But of course, then after we beat Spurs in December, I was like, we won the damn thing. The title's done.
Well, you got to remember how the season went last year, because going into the season, being bullish made sense. They had just won the Premier League. Then everyone gets hurt, but they're still somehow top after Spurs. And it's like, oh, they could do this. And then the wheels fucking
I remember. So we beat Spurs, and then we beat Crystal Palace 7-0. I saw you, Darius, at the bar, and you asked me, so like we won the title. I was like, hell yeah, we did. And you said to me, Darius said to me, oh, so you're doubling down? I'm like, I'm tripling down. Whatever that means.
No. You owe Darius
I forgot
money.
about that.
You owe Darius a lot of money. You just admitted it. David, your minimum. Your minimum. What is the minimum?
Well, I know that a lot of people were bullish last year, but you remember I said third deep Champions League run and an FA Cup is fine with me. That's still like I'm on board with Darius. That's a perfectly good season to me. I think third is what you should expect right now, given what everybody else looks like. I think we are the third best team in this country at worst. So top three. And then, Champions League, it can go either way, right? You never know who you're going to get. So I just, at least get into the quarters. And then, I know that it's, that time of year everybody goes, well, they don't take the domestic cup seriously, but, it's also August right now and you can dream. And I think that we have 2 starting 11s that are good enough to at least compete in that competition and get to the point that Klopp has to take it seriously. You get down into an FA Cup quarterfinal, you got to start taking it seriously, right?
Yeah.
I think you've got a squad that can get you to an FA Cup quarterfinal there. And then you have to start going, okay, well, look, we're 2 rounds from actually having a shot to win this thing. So let's do it. That's all it takes. So I'd like to see us win that also because it's the longest trophies or the longest gap since I've seen us win that trophy. That was 2006. So we've won the League Cup in 2012. We've won everything else much more recently.
Yeah.
So I would like to see us win the FA Cup. So for me,
Yeah, but we're gonna go out to Reading in the first fifth
hush,
round or some nonsense.
Hush.
Ben Woodburn's gonna have a hat trick, bitch.
Yeah, Ben Woodburn.
That's a Harvey Elliott masterclass
Fucking
right there,
do it.
waiting to happen.
So for me, the minimum is top 4. Comfortable though, like Darius said, like it doesn't. We are comfortably at least the 3rd best team, so we should be comfortably finishing in that top 4. There are a couple of iffies. We'll talk about a bit, like that could sneak in, but top 4, maintain, right? I do want us to see you win a domestic trophy. A League Cup will be nice because you win it in February and no one else has won fuck all, and you can just like go around like, we won a fucking shiny thing. And like, City's tactic for that has been let Phil Foden the fucking championship. Let's let Harvey Elliott just fucking Harvey Elliott the
You
champion.
got to get that draw that they always get too.
That's the thing. You got to get the draws and set it up. But yeah, a night. And then for me in the Champions League, you get out of the group and you win 1 tie. Like you get out of the group, win 1 tie. Now we're good. Quarterfinals on. Luck of the draw. You could fucking get PSG at this point, and then it's like, holy shit. So yeah, that's the minimum for me. That's the minimum expectations for next season. And I think we all said it. You could guarantee us Champions League for another year. Give us some excitement in the Champions League, a couple goals to remember, and then maybe back at domestic.
Sorry, Jordan. Can I throw a wrench in this whatever thing? Since Mane and Salah are going to Africa in January, do you see us buying anyone significant or looking to buy anything significant in January? I know another pod, but like quickly, do you?
In January.
No, we don't spend in January. So no.
If you're going to do that, why wouldn't you do that now?
And we will talk about that exact subject coming up next.
When the 2006 World Cup came around, by this time I was well versed. I knew Liverpool was, 18-time champions. We won the Champions League against AC Milan. I was like crying my heart out that day. For no reason. Nobody understood why you were crying for a team somewhere all the way in England. I woke up and I set an alarm for 2:00. I woke up at 2:00. Went into the living room, put the TV on, and saw the game. Right. I mean, it was Liverpool versus AC Milan. Right. It was Gerrard against that mighty team. Because the amount of times I watched AC Milan, I knew that was one of the best teams that has ever existed, at least one of the best defenses that have ever existed. I was very worried for Liverpool because in my mind, I wasn't thinking about is Milan going to win the game or is Liverpool is going to win the game. I was just worried about the fact that it's going to be difficult, right? It's just going to be difficult, and I just hope Liverpool do well. You see, right. It's no longer about AC Milan anymore. It's just about Liverpool. It's like Liverpool have to do. And when it's 3-0 down in the halftime, I was like, well, the first goal I was okay. I just said like shit. I shouted, Nobody woke up. All right, that's okay. Second goal went in. I broke the TV remote. Again, but still, nobody wakes up at the helm, right? Third game, I take the broken remote and start banging it on the TV.
Oh my God!
Like,
the TV. What did he do?
My mom wakes up and it's like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" I was like, "We're losing." And then she sees the remote in my hands and it's like, she already knew I had this habit because it's like, there's no cricket game going on. What's happening? Why did you break the remote this time? It's like, nothing. It's just my team. I want. And then she just goes inside and sleeps. Right? She's like, new remote in the morning. Anyhow, he's known to do this. At least it's not his glasses that he broke this. They show that halftime footage of our fans still singing at halftime. They showed that fans still singing. I heard the Conda saying, "This is all over." I was like, I'll be honest. I thought to myself that was over. There's no way this Liverpool team will come back against this AC Milan team. It's just that defense. It's just not going to happen. Then the fans sing, and then Gerrard comes out, scores that header, lifts the fans. I'm telling you, I see that video right now. Goosebumps even till today.
Yeah.
Even till today, when Gerrard does this to the fans, even till today.
Lifting his arms up. Yeah, absolutely.
I was literally biting myself and saying, if anyone should be a captain in the world, for any team in the world, this man should be it. There should be no other captain for any team in the world except Steven Gerrard. Those were my thoughts.
All right. So, segue, and to answer Andrew's question more in depth and to move on into the next subject, the question being who needs to perform? And for me to answer that question, because I don't think we will invest in January unless things are very bleak indeed, one of the attacking options has to start banging in goals January when Mo and Mane leave if we're going to get all the things that we want to have happen. So if it's Jota, if it's Minamino, even if it's Harvey Elliott, if Divock Origi's somehow still around and it's fucking him, I don't know. I don't know who it is. But someone out of that group needs to start banking. Maybe it's even Bobby. Maybe Bobby has a January that we've never seen before where he bags 9 goals in a month. And you're like, what in the fucking hell is this? But one of the attackers, because it's the unfortunate reality, AFCON's happening this year. We're going to lose Mo. We're going to lose Mane. We're going to lose them for some time because they don't play for, Guinea like Naby Keita or, a smaller African nation. They play for one of the big boys that's going to go to the semifinal at least.
You don't have Gabon making it to.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's going to be Senegal, Algeria, Egypt, and then Cameroon or Nigeria or Ghana. It's going to be those. Yeah. I promise you now, folks. That's going to be the semis. Okay. So that's for me. As far as someone who needs to perform, I can't put one name down, but it's someone of those attacking options has to bang in the goals for us at that time period. So Darius, for you, who is the need to perform player this season?
I guess I'll go kind of back to where we started on this as far as remember we were talking about all right, well, who would you sell out of these guys? Well, I'm looking at the midfield. I'm looking at Keita. I'm looking at Ox, and those two specifically because Liverpool over the last few years have had such an over-reliance on the attackers producing goals. They need the midfield to step up. And we know we're not going to get that out of Fabinho. And Henderson, while he's out there, is probably not going to give you too many goals. Thiago, he's just not that player. That's not what he does. So it's got to be one of those other guys. It's got to be Ox. It's got to be Keita. They need desperately to have someone from the midfield chipping in some goals consistently, at least being a threat. So those are the guys I'm looking at, especially because you know what their role is coming in late in the game, being a little bit of a spark plug. That's where you really need that goal threat to come in. When you're against Burnley, it's 1-1, 10 minutes to go get us something. So those are the two guys I'm looking at is all right, you just need to step up, just start banging them in, man. Let's get it going.
Or even throw a Curtis Jones in there, or even
Curtis Jones, but
Harvey
I feel
Elliott.
Better about Curtis Jones overall. I can give him a pass if he doesn't live up to it.
I would I agree with you. We do need more input from the midfield for goals. We've been asking for that since Phil Coutinho left, and Phil Coutinho, you can name games off the top of your head where he just scores a ridiculous goal from outside the box, and oh, that's it, it's settled. We beat that team.
I mean, even Adam Lallana when he was playing in that role, like
That's true.
Just something.
That was one of the like aha moments of watching Adam Lallana highlights when he left. Was like, wait a second. In the beginning of his Liverpool career, like he was just banging in goals for fun. Like, what the hell is going on here, man? But anyways, and that also for me helps with the Mo Mane thing. Like, you know, if the midfield can score some goals, then you don't need one of the attackers to score, you know, 10 goals in the month. Andrew, for you, who needs to perform for us to reach our dreams?
Everybody needs to get to work.
All these bitches need to get to work.
Okay. No. So, no, all shits and giggles here, but I've been doing the Googles, been asking the Googles what's going on. So question, if a tournament starts, right, when do you leave for the country? Do you go to your
You go 2 weeks early. You go at least 2 weeks early to do a pre-camp.
Is it 2 weeks early? Are you
At least
sure?
2. Usually at least 2 weeks.
Because then we're fucked. Because
well,
hold on. Wait for it.
When does AFCON start?
It starts on January 9th. So 2 weeks early would be what, December 28th?
So I think
like
they would leave the weekend before, and it would just be a week. I'm
hoping, because here's the thing.
I remember it.
They usually don't leave till like after the new year.
Yeah.
Okay, because here's the thing. Obviously, we got a game on Boxing Day. Then we're playing Rogers on the 28th, and then on New Year's Day we're playing the Tuco boys. We're playing the Americans on the 1st.
Okay.
And then here's the thing. Actually, during the tournament, I mean, besides the FA Cup, because we don't know, but during the tournament, I don't give a fuck. We're playing Brentford, home. Hold on, and then we're playing Patrick Vieira away, Crystal Palace. And then the tournament ends on the 6th. So if Mo Salah wins the thing, boy better get to work, because on the 9th, at home, we're playing Rogers.
I just want to say
I'm okay with those 2 games. Those are two Premier League games. I'm Brentford and Crystal Palace. Like, I just mind you, I don't want to drop points, but
I want to throw a wrench in.
Go ahead, baby.
The last time this happened to us, Mane left.
Right.
And then we played bottom of the league Swansea, and we played fucking championship Wolves in the FA Cup. And it was like, I don't give a fuck, like you just said.
Right.
And we had a typical, unfortunately, at this point, you have to say, we've had more Januaries than not that have been absolute shit under Klopp. And we had a typical Klopp January where we just fell out of every competition. I think at that point we had beaten City, and we were like top of the league on New Year's Day or something like that. I can't remember. But anyways, who do you need to perform, Andrew, and so we can reach our dreams?
Yeah.
It's got to be Oxford Kate. It's got to be Oxford Kate, because for me, if you're no, will he be around? Minamino? Do we think Minamino was staying? Because
so yes,
what is happening?
No, what I mean is, like, do we do a Southampton? Do we loan him out again? Because
he'll be here.
I think he's going on loan.
He'll be.
I hope not, because it's got to be him, because it's going to be him, Jota, and Firmino playing in front three.
Talking about Taki's like importance earlier. Like,
I know, I've been drinking. Just chill the fuck out. All right, chill the fuck out. Everyone take a chill pill.
We're attacking you. Yeah,
are you taking Minamino?
I'm sorry.
I don't have it. It's got to be Minamino that's got to help Jota, because I'm fearful. As I said this last season, he was going to get 40 goals. Now, mind you, it was a joke, but I'm dead serious. Homeboy's got the talent to get 40 goals, but the thing is, I don't know if he's going to be staying healthy. If he stays healthy with Jota, I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
With Jota.
Okay.
To the point where Minamino's got to be like just average. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And this idea that the midfielders have to score goals, guys, we've been saying this for years. We don't play that way. We are not City. We don't have.
Oh, but they've got guys who are supposed to be.
Wait a second. Hold on. City play in such a way that the midfielders occupy the half space, so that they get into they get the balls and so on, and they can score goals, right? We don't play that fucking way. We don't need midfielders to score, right? We need our front three to score. So it's imperative that the players occupying those spaces score goals. And that's where like I said, Minamino and Jota. Yeah. And now, mind you, if we do something different, then obviously we change. In other words, if we have new information, we have to change our opinions,
Well,
right?
especially when Liverpool
until
are
then-
playing those low block sides in the middle of winter who are sitting
And-
back. That's when they really need the midfielders to help out.
You shouted him out.
Well,
Just think about Oxlade-Chamberlain goals in your head right now. Just think about him.
I know they're all from deep, but again,
Bangers.
like hold
Bangers,
on.
bro.
But they're bangers. They're bangers.
Okay.
They're like techno songs. They're bangers. But the
Yeah.
thing is, statistically, like you don't get goals outside the box. Like that's not a fucking strategy. Like
You don't rely
I hate
on
it when I was at the bar and someone said, "Oh, we need to shoot from outside the box." I'm like, "Oh yeah, let me think of a championship winning side that like most of their goals, fucking nonsense." Like, no, I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
Just
David.
craziness.
David, who do you need to perform this year? Who needs to perform?
I think this question's funny because everybody has taken it to mean somebody who steps up. I don't necessarily think that's how I'm translating it. What I need to see this year is a player who, to no fault of his own, wasn't able to perform the way that he wanted or needed to perform last season. Y'all are sitting here talking about how our midfielders don't necessarily have to score goals, that we don't play that way, but we do need our midfielders to create and be involved in attacking motions. And that's why I need Thiago this year to be fucking Thiago, to be the player that we signed. It's not his fault. I'm not saying it was his fault that he didn't get to do all that last season. He had a job to do, and it was a lot more nitty gritty last season than what he signed on for, because we spent half our season with Fabinho in the back and Hendo in the back, or neither of them in the back, and Genie playing the six, and the whole thing was a clusterfuck that nobody could predict or want to play. But this year, hopefully, none of that happens. You saw what he started to do at the end of the season when he had Fab next to him week in, week out, and I'm hoping that with Hendo also, it's just going to free him up to be the creator that we know him to be, and the guy that can pull the strings and control the game. And against those low block sides, he's a player that we, it's part of why we bought him, is that he can make those passes and he can help create those opportunities for those players. And that's why I really hope to see Thiago.
It's a great shout. Now that you said it, I'm like, yeah, that's a good fucking answer.
I mean, it's
actually.
definitely nice. And at the end of the day, from a selfish point of view, I just want to be able to sing that song in a non-ironic way. There's that. Yeah, no, fuck.
Yeah.
But then I'm just worried about his injuries, though.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine. As long as Richarlison stays off his fucking.
I think back to that Chelsea game, right? He was employed more forward, and then the rest of the season he was back. So yeah, I mean that's definitely that's an excellent shot. It's just thrown my whole head through a loop. Like, yeah, that's the answer.
Thiago, I'm still kind of one of those people where it's like I come off as being like a Thiago defender, but it's like he did play better than I think we give him credit for last year, because
he did fine.
So many things that happened around him.
I'm not attacking him and saying that he didn't.
But
play well.
How about
he
this?
Didn't get to do what he wanted to do.
Yeah, but it's like it's stuff like this, right? Like because I pulled these up and it's like, oh, I didn't even realize that. It's like he played the third most passes in the Premier League into the final third. Like he had the most passes on the team going 10, 15 yards or more forward. So it's like out of the distribution, the pass accuracy, and getting other guys into positions where they can create the final pass. Like
I understand,
that's what we said from the very beginning, that like he's not going to be the guy with the assist. He's not going to be the guy with the goal. He's the pass before the pass. So if you make the pass before the pass, and then the guy doesn't make his pass in, like then that's not on you. So like that's kind of the thing where it's like I feel like he did do his job last year.
I'm not saying that he didn't, but what I'm saying is that because of the situation, he had to play a lot deeper than he probably would have normally. Sure. So when you're saying he had to make all these passes like 10 and 15, longer than 10 or 15 yards, I don't think that he should necessarily have to be doing quite that many long balls or that style of play, because he shouldn't necessarily be picking the ball up outside of his own 18-yard box and then trying to spring somebody free. That should be Fab, then feeding him, who can then make something happen right around the midfield mark and start to create deeper and deeper into their half. As we own the ball more, it's not on him to kind of help clean up. That's Fab and Hendo's job. Right. It's his job to more step in almost like a 10 and distribute and create in the middle and start pulling the strings of the attack.
And he'll be getting the ball to Trent. He'll be getting the ball Hopefully
Right.
Robbo will be back. And then those will be where you're getting the assists from. I just want to kind of like set the precedent now that we're now coming into the season thinking like 10, 15 assists is what we're looking for out of him. Like,
No, I'm not even.
goals
I'm
and
not-
assists, that's not going to be a thing.
But you know,
because I don't
but
think Thiago's the type of player that you put a number on, and you don't
Right.
say
Yeah.
like this is his goal, because
Right.
it could be 30. I don't know, but I'm not going to put a number on it because it could be a bunch of like you said, hockey assists. It could be 25 hockey assists,
Yeah.
but all he does is just keep opening everything up so that all the other players can
but
build their numbers.
inevitably, to your point, David, I'm waiting for the clickbait title of "Has Thiago come good?" from Sky Sports Football YouTube channel.
Sky Sports loves
He
him.
never didn't come good, but
I was going to say, like, they were one of the
That's
ones
my
backing
point,
him
is
a
like-
lot.
Yeah,
But
I don't
everyone
think
thinks
that the way that we had to
you know.
play last year got the best, like gave us Thiago at his best. It forced him to do a lot of things that like
Mhm.
were kind of dirty work in a lot of times.
Yeah, so we
Really
know
in
a
that
chef
middle part of the
mutually.
season.
So all of us, we know a guy. He's a chef. He was trained in Paris. He knows French cuisine. Thiago knows French cuisine, and he was asked to make Italian food. That's all. And now, hopefully, for the rest of the season, he can make his French shit, and it'll be dope. That's what I'm thinking, and I think that's what you're trying to say. If
I don't know. I'm saying like
Yeah,
that he
like
was
we took
making
a
French
chef and we
food and
put him-
then somebody else dropped the plate.
whichever the way you look at it,
I mean,
Thiago
I
will
think,
be all right.
I think yes, but you got to look at where he's making French food from, and then it's like he's having to
That's
throw
fair.
the plate across the kitchen.
Like a frisbee, just flinging it.
He's getting it there, but the other people are dropping the food. Like,
Ratatiago? Is that what it is? Ratatiago? No?
Why do we
Okay.
make him French as if he's like not
Yeah.
Brazilian and
Why isn't
Spanish?
it-
Hey,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And he's
Just
from
go
like,
with the damn
born in
taco.
Italy. Like all these other places have amazing food.
fucking tough.
That's the one place he's not
Band-Aid,
affiliated with that
man.
has awesome food.
Dog,
Quick
just
question.
go with it. Just go
Quick
with it.
question around the board. Does anyone score more goals than Mo Salah for us? If hold your peace, otherwise.
Jota.
Okay, so we have one. We'll say Jota just for shits and giggles. Everyone remember.
Divock Origi, obviously.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be said, right?
Wait. Can it be my boyfriend? Can it be Allison Becker?
I mean, he's the
He's
only
got
person
one.
in the history of the Premier League to score a goal, assist a goal, win the Golden Gloves, and there was some other like honor like added on to that. Like he's the only player in Premier League history to do that.
Beautiful.
So,
Beautiful.
hey, anytime we can get an Allison goal shout in there, that's the exact moment where all my love for football came flooding back. Before that, I was a miserable.
Oh,
empty-
yo, I remember that
Yeah,
day
I'll go
because I was
first.
at Adams and you were texting like, "I hate football. Dude, I'm like, we're gonna fucking die. Everything like the apocalypse." And then the goal goes in. 2 minutes later, I see my phone notification was like, "I hate football. I can't believe this. This shouldn't be happening." And you're like, and then you write like "get in" capital letters, and I'm like, "What?" I just
But that was my reaction
I
too,
love
though.
it.
I just
I
started
gave up,
laughing.
man.
And
I
I'm like,
went grocery
how
shopping.
dare you guys make me care this damn much about this
Yeah,
game?
right. I don't need that in my life. I don't need that. So we all
Stop.
agree. Mo Salah will be the top scorer.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've covered ourselves. Let's look at the bigger picture in the league. I'm going to start with you, Andrew. Give me your top four in order.
Oh God. Shit. I hate. Fuck. No, I don't make me say it.
All right.
I think it's.
Say
I
it.
think it's.
Say it.
I think it's Chelsea. I think it's City. I think it's us, and I think it's United.
I like the shout. I like the Chelsea shout. It's a cheeky shout. I think they'll be
Fucking hate
better
those cunts. I hate them.
than they were last year. Definitely. David, what's your top four?
I mean, that's technically the correct answer, but I'll throw Leicester City in over United.
Yeah, go on the broad. You finally do it. This is the year.
This is the year, and it comes.
I would
at
love it.
always
I would
the
love it.
expense.
I would
They'll-
love it, but I just don't
listen.
think it's happening.
Fofana injury is going to be like it was for us. They're going to have to manage that. We'll see how they do with it, because they've already lost a center back, and we know how that story goes, and a pretty good one. Darius, your top four.
Number 4, Leicester. Number 3, Chelsea. Number 2,
Ooh.
Liverpool. Number 1, City.
Yeah, I don't want to say it, but I do think City wins.
Yeah.
I'll put us ahead of Chelsea, even though I'm 50-50 on that. Chelsea. And then because we're not going to have enough time to talk about the rest of the league, and you've already talked about Leicester, I'll throw Villa in there. I think Villa have done amazing business and just something to look out for. Danny Ings, They're not going to finish fourth. I'm just throwing them in the hat. Just to
Oh,
get
I
them
thought
in
you were
the
saying
hat.
they're finished
Oh,
fourth.
I was gonna say,
No,
I love
not
it.
first, no.
Only Andrew said United.
I was gonna say, yeah, I picked up on that too. We're pretty down on United, are we?
Oh, listen. To be fair,
all
that's
gonna blow up
mainly
They actually did really good business. They
That's
did a really
mainly-
good summer.
What they got?
that's
Sancho.
us being
That's
that's
it.
us
They got
being
Sancho and
rivals.
Varane.
Yeah, like
They got
Oh,
Varane
yeah,
at a really good
that's
price
right. I
too.
forgot about
The
that.
And
Varane
that was a
thing
good
is
move.
Sancho, the thing about
All right,
Varane
that's true.
is a need, but Sancho wasn't a need for them. I don't
He
think.
was a bit of a need. They have not had a out and out right winger. They've been playing Greenwood over there. He's a striker, and they've been asking so much out of going down the left hand side. It literally, I mean, think back to the FA Cup. Everything that they did came down the left. So they've been asking so much out of Marcus Rashford now that he's hurt. They needed someone else to kind of supplement and be their go-to guy. So it was actually a pretty big need for them as an attack, but I don't think it critically solved everything. They still have
So-
issues.
I think United probably will be in the top 4 instead of Villa. Like, if
They're
I'm being
improved,
honest,
for sure.
The thing
I
on-
hope
if-
they'll be there instead of Leicester.
if
but I'm
you
not
want
gonna
to,
miss-
if you want to buy into this idea that all the business they did isn't going to work, there's only one thought for me that you can entertain and that you can spew to the masses if you really want to preach the gospel of it wasn't all good business. For Raphael Varane, I don't remember who did he play next to in the World Cup, the French one. Who remembers? Is
Oh,
it Rami?
TT.
Was it Umtiti?
Marquinhos. No,
TT
no.
was a starter. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
It kind of puts a little into my thing. For me, Varane has always been the second center back. He's always had Sergio Ramos next to him. And I think the problem for Manchester United is that, in my mind, Harry Maguire is not a first center back.
Kind of a
He's
number
not.
2, yeah.
He's kind of a number 2. They want him to be the leader, and he hasn't been able to hold it together. So maybe they're both number 2 guys who need a leader to get the best out of them and to get the best out of the whole unit. And
Just
that's
saying maybe it's like a Matip Gomez kind of thing.
kind of where, like, they're missing their Virgil Van Dijk still. Like, Varane's class, and he could lead a back line, but he's never had to. He's had
Right.
Sergio Ramos
Fair.
next to him his whole life, you know? He's always had a guy to turn to. And Harry
Well,
Maguire
now
has
he's got
Johnny Evans.
Slaphead. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But I think both of them need the guy that's going to tell them, like, hey, do this, come back here. And if they're in control, I don't know what it could be chaos. But I do think United probably gets
I
top
hope
4.
it's chaos.
They've done some good business.
That's chaos.
Okay, so we'll come down to David. Who do you got going down? Who's going down?
Oh, who did I say? I will go with hold on a sec. I gotta pull up, gotta remember everybody that got in.
Norwich?
Watford's going back down, guaranteed. I'm gonna finally take Burnley going down. Sean Dyche's trick does not
Fuck
work
off, Sean.
this time. And then let's see here. I'll probably go with Norwich bouncing back down. Unfortunately, they're just too brave, and they don't play like cancel football. Like anti-football. They don't play it enough to survive that, like, because that first year up is a bitch, and you gotta like win
Never say
10 games and draw 7 or 8 to like really have a shot at it. And I just cannot see them doing it. Weirdly, I'm gonna let Brentford survive somehow, but like by the skin of their
Hey,
teeth.
listen, you got to back Billy Bean. Moneyball, baby.
Yeah.
You got to back him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, nothing would piss off English football more if another Moneyball American came in and like succeeded in the Premier League. They just fucking lose their minds. Like, we got these fucking, like, America is capitalist heaven, and yet they're doing the pinch a penny strategy while the fucking, sheiks come in and just spend all their oil money. It doesn't make sense. But I like it.
Right.
Let Brentford stay. Let the Bees stay, man.
The Bees stay up. Their first trip to the Premier League, and they stay a year.
Darius, who you
Sean
got
Dyche
going
out.
down? I like that. I like
I've got 2 of them. I mean, I'm thinking Norwich. See ya. Watford. See ya. I just don't know who else I would put in there, because like with Norwich and Watford, those are 2 teams I like. I want to see them stick around. I just don't know if they can. I mean, they're not drastically different teams than the last time we saw them. If anything, Watford is probably less, because now they have to rely more on Sarr. But I
There's
don't know.
another interesting choice that it could go like they could be good. They could be like their usual 13th, or it could go horribly bad.
Yeah.
And that's Crystal Palace.
Yeah, that's what I was
Damn
thinking.
it,
though. I
man.
was thinking Palace. I was thinking Palace because
Like I
you
think
don't
Vieira is
know.
a good coach, but I just this squad.
They
Wow.
needed to be refreshed a couple of years ago. They should have
They did.
cashed in on Zaha. Like, I could see that being just a zombie of a team by the time you get to the end of the year, just being like, we don't want to do this anymore. I hate
time
this
you get
part
to
of London.
January.
I don't want to be here. Like you could see that with a number of their guys because they have so much talent. But after the one thing that you're looking forward to as a Palace player is thank God we don't have to play for Hodgson anymore. But they're not a great
But it
team.
can go
They just have
both ways,
talented
yeah.
individual players. So if they don't get off to a great start, that's a team I'm looking at as like, what's your incentive? Like, why do you want to keep playing? You're looking for a different
Why
team
are
at
you
the
a
end of this.
professional?
But no, but seriously, like as far as what you're trying to do, you're not playing for the badge at that point. Like you're just playing for yourself. And in football, that's where shit can really hit the fan quick. If you're not trying to play together, you're trying to do your own thing. I feel like they got a number of dudes who would fall into that, but I don't know. Like I can see that going wrong for Palace, but I think they're too talented to go down, but I can see it blowing up there.
Listen, we all know that Roy Hodgson was using his body as a medium for the devil to keep the Crystal Palace up. And hired to eventually slither back into the ground. Crystal Palace is doomed. Like we all know that, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Oh, so Andrew, you had Palace going down. Who did you have going down? You had Palace.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why I said damn it because I was gonna say Palace. I was gonna be like my dark horse is Palace, and then I was gonna blow your
And
mind.
we're all just like, oh yeah, no Palace can do that. Like,
but I'm okay with it because there's some players. If I'm sober enough to remember that there's some players that we can do a genie on, and I'd be okay with that. But anyway, yeah. So it's gotta be Palace, and it's gotta be who else? It's gotta be Watford, Norwich because I would. There's always going to be a relegation or a new up and comer that stays, but now this may happen because shit may happen. If Marco Bielsa was like, I'm out in the middle of the season, Leeds could go down. But,
nah, Leeds is on solid footing. Leeds has got a good.
They improved if anything.
yeah, but if he were to leave, like it could just crash and burn.
Just
I could
holding
see
on
them
to
just like
Raphinha was a big win right there, but
I think if the players would just band together and get through the year.
Wait. Who's managing Wolves?
I forgot some new guy. Yeah, some new guy. Hey, new guy.
That's a shout for a team that could really have a struggle this year too.
Yeah, they could struggle because if they get off to a bad start, I mean, I understand they have talent and all that stuff. Connor Cody,
Bruno Miguel Silva de Nascimento. Just so you know.
No, Bruno Lage, right?
Yeah.
Another
Portuguese guy.
Another Portuguese guy.
Yeah. So
that's a shout.
It probably won't, but it's possible, right?
So look, I think Norwich is going to do their thing where they go woohoo, like they always do for some reason. Probably Watford too, because I don't think they have enough substance to them. They're the easiest and cheapest ticket in the Premier League, and I hope they stay around because it's such an easy game to go to. I am a member of Watford Football Club. Go on, you Hornets. Yeah, because it was like £10 for a ticket if you just gave them your email. So I was like, yeah, like here, have my fucking email, and I'm gonna sit front row and watch Leicester beat you and get super excited about it. So hold on,
that's hilarious.
Probably Watford. So the third one is always the tough one because like, is it going to be like a Newcastle? Probably not. I don't think.
Steve Bruce.
Wait, who's your manager? Is it Steve Bruce?
Yeah, so Steve Bruce. Here's my.
No, they're going down.
Hold up.
Andrew, they'll always grind it out.
But here's the thing: he's actually put up similar numbers there to their former manager. The new Everton manager.
Yeah, that's it. Everton's fucking going down.
Actually, that's why he took it. He's like, I'm gonna get them relegated.
No, so here's my dark horse. My dark horse for going down is Southampton.
That's a fair shout.
They just got rid of their, the pinnacle of their attack. I don't know if Shea Adams is enough. There's rumors that they'll lose a center back here in the transfer market, Vestergaard, before we get to the season. House and Hoodle has had these runs in the season where they just lose like a whole bunch. They happened last year. I think they were bottom of the table at one point.
They've had multiple 9-0 losses over the last couple of years.
Yeah, and I think there just comes a point where if you start the season like that, it's just a hole you can't dig out of, and it might just go that way for them. But, we don't know. Who knows? All right, league top scorer of the whole league. David, who are you going with?
Mo Salah, baby. Sorry, no, I do think he loves the golden boot. It's his thing, and I think he'll get it this year. I feel like this year there's going to be another everybody's going to have their vibe back. And they're going to have a little chip on their shoulder. So I feel like they got something to prove. And Mo, especially, is just going to run roughshod through the whole league. He'll get like 28 this year.
I would fucking love that.
Andrew, who you got as league's top scorer?
It depends. So if Kane goes to City, it's got to be Kane.
No,
unfortunately,
he'll be hurt half the year.
It don't matter. He still is able somehow to do it because he'll get like easy goals. He'll get like 4.
And he's gonna score him with his teeth.
He'll get 4 against Crystal Palace, like just like taking a nap. Like that's what will happen.
If Kane doesn't go though, who's your top scorer?
Lukaku probably.
Oh, you stole mine. I was gonna go.
But that's fine. But that's fine. But it will be. But I will say this though.
Logical.
I will say this though. Regardless, I think it'll be really close. It's not going to be like a 3-goal gap. It's going to be or a 4-goal gap. It's got to be like 1 or 2 between first and second. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I was going to go Lukaku, and like Lukaku tore up the league before he left, and United just didn't know how to use him. He has since gone to the continent and picked up a couple of new tricks. He's been working with Thierry Henry for like the past 6 years with the Belgian national team, and I just think he comes back to the Premier League and he has something.
But
to
also,
prove,
more importantly, Jordan, apparently, like they've changed it at Inter. They changed his diet or something like that.
Yeah,
So
he looks like
what I mean?
a machine now, like even more than he was before. Like he looks like it. I'm mad. I'm proper jealous. Like I would in another universe where he hadn't played for all of our rivals, and there's a chance that we could sign him. I would love to see it. But
Yeah. I just hope he gets like an Achilles injury.
No, don't be that guy.
No. I'm gonna say it right now. I'll give fuck.
Listen,
I'll be trips. I'll be trips over the ball boy.
All I gotta
Fuck
say
that
is those chances that Timo Werner missed, Lukaku's not gonna miss them. So.
No.
Darius, who do you have as the top scorer on that very morbid note right there?
Fuck him. Trip over the ball boy.
Triple down. Darius, who do you have as the league top scorer?
Harry Kane, NBA. Harry Kane.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly it. No, but I think Kane is going to be on one this season, regardless of where he plays. I do think he's going to have one of those years where he scores 20 goals by like November and then tears his legs up because of overuse if he's at Tottenham. And if he's at City, then it's going to be a bunch of tap-in goals and he plays, every other game. So either way, it's like Harry Kane is in a position where he's going to look good because the team around him at Tottenham is meh, which means get the ball to Harry and get out the way. So he'll go take advantage of that. And if he's at City, then it's a bunch of tap-ins. And I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. And to wind it down, before we wind it down and finish this off, player of the season, any shouts? I mean, Kevin De Bruyne's going to be in there. I don't know if I have like one tied down that I think is going to storm the league and take over. But it's probably going to be between Kevin De Bruyne and someone on, it'd probably be either like Mo Salah or maybe even Romelu Lukaku. I mean, those would be my 3 choices.
It's going to be
Divock Origi, obviously.
Any other shouts out there? You guys got any shouts?
No, I'm thinking it's got to be one of Havertz or Conte again.
Oh, again.
Okay.
Well,
I mean,
Conte's won it before, right?
So interesting enough, and no one talked about this last year. I guess Havertz had COVID and then was dealing with long COVID issues all last season. Similar like Jason Tatum in the NBA. Like no one talked about that. And it might explain why he didn't have a good season a little bit. Like, hey, the lad couldn't fucking breathe. That's crazy.
Yeah, because here's the thing, because I'm thinking if Lukaku is a top scorer, right? Who's assisting him? I'm thinking it's
That's
Havertz.
true.
So then Havertz will get like everyone will get moist for him, and journalists will write a thing, and then he'll get his dumbass award and
twerk for Havertz. It's going to be a TikTok trend. Twerk for Havertz. I'm calling it here first, folks. Darius, I said twerk for Havertz. It's going to be a TikTok trend. Darius, you got a shout? Man.
It's like, given how much people were throwing love at Jorginho as an outside shot for Ballon d'Or, and I'm like, looking at how Chelsea's got their team, I still think Conte is the underappreciated guy out of everyone on Chelsea. I look at United. If Bruno Fernandes takes 20 penalties again, then people will have him up there.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
If you have a golden boot shout for either Salah or Kane, they'll get plenty of love. But I think the comeback season element to Van Dijk really could be the story that people will go behind, especially if Liverpool do something. So If Liverpool win the title, then it's going to be somebody on their team. So basically, I'm just kind of like hedging my bet. But whoever wins the title, it'll be somebody off of that team. I'm just kind of laying out the different stories.
I'm getting wet
that you can
right
go
now
with.
because I love that story. We do
I'm
the
telling you,
fucking business. Van Dijk gets the award. Hell yeah!
Oh no! If
Liverpool,
if Liverpool wins the title, it would be Van Dijk, and he'll be Player of the Year. I mean, he was basically Player of the Year the year they won the Champions League, right? So that's what you're gonna have to see. And that's what the writers will do, because it's not off of who's the best player. It's off of the best story. That's the way that the writers come up with the Player of the Year. Henderson a couple years ago. De Bruyne, because he's been fantastic. Conte is going to be one of those guys as well. But that's one, like, I could see it being Van Dijk if Liverpool were to do something this year. So I'll go Virg for my guy. It's like an outside shot.
I think even if Liverpool like challenge and keep it close and like finish second, very close, like the easy narrative is like, he was gone and they finished fourth barely, and then he comes back and look how close they get to winning the title.
It's no longer an easy route to win at Anfield.
Yeah, and it's just like
last year.
And it's just like what was the missing piece here? Oh, it was Van Dijk, and that's how they
exactly.
It's an easy story to write.
The comeback story is an easy one to write, so that's why you would go there.
Especially, fuck, I'm all about it. I'm getting excited already.
I don't think it's necessarily on merit though. That's why I'm just like not
like my
excited
anxiety
saying
is like,
it.
I know, but my anxiety is like a fucking roller coaster. It's like down and then up, and then it's like fucking. Now I feel like I can go to Vegas right now. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
calm
that down.
That is the perfect.
You got the Hard Rock Bowl.
The perfect metaphor to segue. The season will be a roller coaster. It will be up and down. This episode has been a roller coaster. It's been up and down all around town.
You don't want to know who my player of the season is?
Oh, sorry. I said shout him out. Sorry. Go, David. Shout it out.
I there's just been this thing like fashions going in a really 80s shitty way, and just stupid styles are back. And I think the Jack Grealish wank fest will continue. Like Darius says, it's going to be somebody.
We can't have a 10 of hair gels Player of the Year.
We think his fucking stupid socks.
His socks, man. His fucking socks, man.
I was really into Grealish all summer as a supporter of England, and now I hate him. It's a really weird thing, football.
No, but can we talk about his socks real quick?
All summer, I was like, why isn't he fucking playing? And now I'm like, fuck that guy. I hope he never plays for England.
I'm rooting for Phil Foden to be the better player of the two of them. Jesus Christ.
That would be funny.
Grealish Wankfest. He gets player of the season because he had like 11 assists and 7 goals or something.
Yeah.
But he's the next great English midfielder.
Hey, we'll see. And that's what it's all about. We will see. To finish this, a little talk to you, a little monologue. Much like a book, a football season, you open it, you start reading a page. It might be part of a series of books that you've read before. You might not like how the first chapter goes, but you won't know how you feel until you get to the end. This season, I guarantee, will not be easy. It will not be straightforward. It will be interesting. There will be twists and turns. Similar themes, new characters, new heroes, new antagonists, new protagonists. But we'll close the book and we'll read the next one like we always do. So hopefully you'll be joining us as we narrate that story to you on this podcast once again. And as we
scar ourselves.
Yes. And as we plan other many more fun things for us to do. Thanks for tuning in. We're looking forward to the season. Hopefully we're all wrong in our prediction. Liverpool wins the league because that's what we all really want. Mo Salah scoring 35 goals, winning player of the season, and everyone else being irrelevant, But once again, this has been Tampa Bay Cop Talk. I'm Jordan.
I'm Darius.
I'm Andrew.
I'm David.
Until next time.